Right, so this is potentially going to be a bit of a weird one, because I'm actually asking for a bit of trust. Oh my god. Just to try and, rather than do like individual build videos for like new players to build you up and like grind and the progression and whatnot, I'm just going to kind of, in this one, just throw 10 builds at you and then, I don't know, see how you get along kind of thing. I've tried to include as much as possible without going too crazy. So we'll just see how this goes, and if it works well when people like it, I can obviously do more. I've tried to focus mostly on the sort of like your general play styles for this one, minus skill builds, because I've done like a hardwired and an eclipse progression guide thing so far. I've done one DPS. I'm wanting to do a strikers one, but I need strikers to actually appear in the open world, so yeah. But anyway, let's just start this off. So first one is like babies first, high-end DPS build, 3-piece Providence, Contractors, Foxes, Grupo. I've put a FAMAS in. Feel free to use whatever AR you actually want. It's not really going to make too much of a difference other than Chameleon, simply just because, as you've noticed, a lot of the minor attributes I've left blank, as well as one of the mod slots, and I've just filled it up with crit chance. This will put you at 58% crit chance at SHD 0, so you can chop and change as you need. The empty mod slots and attribute roles are not for me to say sort of like you would want this or you would want that. It's just more of a, all you're really looking for is a mask with weapon damage and either come with crit chance or can you put crit chance on it. Don't worry too much about the third attribute. We're not going to be focusing too much on getting you to heroic as quick as possible. These are just sort of like, they should all handle challenging very well, minus one of them, but it's a healer build, so yeah. So that's going to be like the basic setup of this. It's just going to be the pieces I recommend and the roles I would suggest you prioritize. For some of them, such as the one I just had up, I did include talents. The backpack talent was Composure and the chest talent was Unbreakable. From there, you'll just have to find your own sort of like natural progression. I would suggest then go to Obliterate, then Glass Cannon, Perfect Glass Cannon, blah de blah de blah. Anyway, that was build 1. Standard, high-end DPS build. Up next, we have a Strikers setup. We're going to use Foxes and then a Cheska chest with Obliterate, 4-piece Strikers. Try and get crit chance everywhere that you can. Get yourself to as close as 60% as possible. This at SHD 0 is at 58% crit chance. You're at like 25% crit damage, but that's not too much of an issue, simply just because of the way in which Strikers works. Here we have a MMR rifle type build. Foxes, Contractors, 3-piece Providence, and Pristine Example. I've added in crit chance and headshot on this one, depending on how you want it to go. If you want to go for a more DPS styled rifle setup, you'd want to go crit chance. If you want to go for more for an MMR setup, you'd want to go more for headshot. One thing I did omit from the screenshot on that last one with the rifle and MMR style build is you will absolutely need to use an 8x scope or over on both weapons. I dum-dummed it and didn't put it in. I'm sorry. Now, just because I know pistol builds are a thing, have a pistol build. We're going to be also utilizing the shield for this, so Memento and Forge are going to be very handy, especially at low levels. Foxes, Contractors, obviously. We're running a lovely Cheska chest for that little bit of boost to our crit chance, and obviously Punch Drunk. This build will perform well, however it now does kind of require like 4 named items and an exotic, which is probably not the best route to go, especially if you're just starting. It's a bit like getting caught on random chairs and not being able to walk over trash bags in this game. It's just kind of like, what are you doing? Anyway, this one's a bit weird. Although I've just done a video on Eclipse is probably one of the quickest and easiest ways to get yourself to heroic. I am adding Firm Handshake here just because it comes with a native natural 15% status effect, which is really, really handy. and where you're going to be running around like a lunatic setting everything on fire, screw it, get an SMG involved. If you can get Lady Death, that will actually benefit you quite a bit. It allows you to move around, have a bit of utility. If not, any old SMG with InSync will do. The majority of your damage is coming from the fire status. I completely forgot what it was called then. So you'll get more benefit out of that rather than trying to mid-max your bloody SMG for that build. You'll hopefully eventually change it into a more specialized pyro build eventually. This one, yeah, double-sided. If you want to go the DPS route, go for crit chance, use the Marine Super 90, or well, a Super 90. If you want to go more for I just want to slap stuff, go for headshot and put on the M870. Eventually, if you can, try and get yourself a chain killer. However, this has been set up for you to get constantly 1% armor regen. You've got 2 blue cores, 30% armor on kill, 100% health on kill, and you'll still have the capability to slap stuff. Possibly still struggle in heroic. However, don't have 2 shotguns like I've shown here. Go for a shotgun and an SMG, and then just change either crit chance or headshot depending on what route you want to go. Super 90 for crit, headshot for M870. Now if you're playing with friends and you want one of you to be a healer, this is a very basic healer setup. 4-piece future initiative for mask, knees, holster and chest. Alps Summit armament gloves and Acosta's go bag. I can already hear some people furiously typing, Acosta's go bag is trash. No, you just don't understand it. 2, I can pretty much guarantee at some point, everyone, by the time they've hit SHD 7, they've had like 90 Acosta's go bag drops, but no BTSU gloves. So if you want to get a healer build out the gate pretty quick, this would be the setup you go for. Obviously, it's not end game ideal, but it will do for now. The reason we're going for Alps gloves rather than anything else is because when you do get to the end game, you are going to be swapping your gloves and your backpack. You're essentially going to swap them, ideally, anyway. So get this set up. It's pretty easy to farm, including the exotic. And then when you're able to, you just swap over to this lovely contraption. We now have an Alps Summit backpack. You're going to want opportunistic. I see so many people run safeguard. It's a waste of time. And BTSU gloves. Run opportunistic, get yourself a shotgun, you're away. Now, just because I know people are going to go, oh, but what about tank builds? You haven't included any tank builds. I am going to include one. However, I am going to add the caveat. I do not recommend this, especially if you're leveling. 1, it's a lot of effort to get very little benefit. 2, if you're playing PvE, I have to specify this every time, your best defense is the enemies not shooting back. What's the best way to ensure enemies do not shoot back? Kill them quicker. You can add weird and wacky things into a DPS build to give you more survivability. Preservation is one. Armor on kill is another. Armor regen, not so much, but yeah, okay. But still, going for a full tank build is typically not worth it. Now, if you do want to go full tank build, I recommend this. 4-piece Foundry Bulwark, Memento backpack, and a Cheska chest just to try and make up your crit chance. For this, I've actually put the Mozambique Special on just because it encourages the same playstyle that you would use when hopefully you get the correct pistol for this build, which would be Liberty. Perfect breadbasket. You have to hit body shots to build up stacks, then hit the head. Guess what you have to do with Liberty? Hit body shots to build up stacks, then hit the head. So, if you must go tank build, this is what you would run. For a talent, if you're running in a group, go Vanguard. If you're not running in a group, go Intimidate. I do not have something weird and wacky against tank builds. I too, like a lot of people, have limited time to play. I would rather get 3 missions done on a DPS build than bounce around in 1 mission on a tank build. Anyway, hopefully this has given some lovely new people something to aim towards and build up to. I'm aware this has been quite vague. I just kind of wanted to get a lot of builds out that you potentially could use at like the sort of midway point. Obviously, employ a little bit of common sense with it. If you find something isn't working for you, try something else. Everyone has their own playstyle. However, with that being said, have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.